All right, so, we love getting into the nitty-gritty here.
Oh, yeah.
And today we're going to be looking at something, this 17th Commandment thing.
Right.
And this is an 1829 revelation to Joseph Smith Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fascinating because it lays out some of the really fundamental elements of, what would become the Latter-day Saint movement.
Absolutely.
So
it's a groundwork.
Yeah, this is the ground floor.
Yeah.
We're gonna unpack some of the key claims that are made here and really explore what makes this document so significant.
What's so interesting to me is that it's not just laying out ideas, it's actually putting things into action.
Yeah, and it's very
direct.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It names Joseph Smith Jr. as a seer, translator, prophet, apostle of Jesus Christ, and elder of the church.
Oh, right there.
All in one sentence. So, what kind of impact do you think that would have on people?
Just imagine you're a person sitting there in the 1800s, and you hear this guy and all these titles being...
like piled on.
Just piled on. To him, it's like...
with such authority?
Yeah. And, they're weighty titles, too. Each of them individually has this real religious weight. You've got seer, meaning he's having these divine visions.
Right.
Translator, which of course brings to mind
Book of Mormon.
the Book of Mormon, right?
Yep.
Prophet, he's speaking for God.
Right.
Apostle as this special witness, and then elder, this leadership position.
It's setting him up.
It really is.
To be
painting this picture.
Yeah, the main guy.
This is the guy you need to listen to. He's got this connection to God.
Yeah. And then he even goes on to say, to kind of make things official, I guess.
Right.
He gives a specific date for the church's organization, April 6th, 1830.
Right. That's pretty significant. You have to remember that these kind of movements don't just appear out of nowhere.
It's not like a light switch?
No, there are already gatherings happening,
Right.
discussions, even hints of organizational structure.
So it was brewing already.
Yeah, before that April date.
Right.
So when we see that date, it's more helpful to think of it as a culmination, a point where things really became official.
Solidified?
Yeah, rather than like a beginning.
Okay, so less of a light switch moment and more of a...
Slow burn.
Slow burn, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but even with all that brewing, you can't ignore the claim of divine authority.
Absolutely.
That's in this revelation.
Front and center.
Yeah, and it states very clearly,
over and over,
repeatedly, that Joseph Smith Jr.'s words should be accepted as God's own words.
Like from the mouth of God.
Yeah, what kind of pressure do you think that put on those early followers?
Immense pressure. Think about it.
Yeah.
Everything this guy says is coming straight from God.
Yeah.
That's going to affect everything you do.
Your whole worldview.
How you see the world. The choices you make, your whole relationship with faith.
Yeah, it's like the bedrock.
It is the foundation upon which everything else is built.
And to question it would be to question
everything.
The whole thing.
The whole foundation crumbles.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have all these promises and blessings that are outlined in the text.
Right.
Things like protection from the gates of hell and powers of darkness.
If you obey.
Right, and blessings for those who labor in the vineyard.
Right. That's powerful stuff.
It is, and I can see how those ideas really resonate with people.
Of course.
Even today.
Especially back then, it's like you're offering comfort.
Yeah.
You're offering hope.
Yeah.
Security, motivation, all wrapped up in this divine assurance.
Right, and we see that reflected.
Absolutely.
Even today in, the missionary work. And, the idea that God will protect you.
Divine protection.
If you are faithful.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see how it all kind of
connects.
Yeah. But of course, it wasn't just Joseph Smith Jr., running the show.
It takes a village.
Yeah. You can't forget Oliver Cowdery.
Oh, absolutely pivotal in all this.
And in this revelation, he's not only told to ordain Joseph Smith Jr.
Right.
But he's also identified as an elder.
That's right.
So what can you tell us about, their relationship?
It was incredibly close.
Yeah.
They were collaborators, confidants.
Really working together?
Oh, yeah, shoulder to shoulder to make this happen.
Yeah, and Cowdery was, a big deal.
Huge. He wasn't just a follower. He was one of the 3 witnesses.
Of the Book of Mormon.
For the Book of Mormon, yeah.
And he was, really instrumental in shaping the early church structure.
Yeah, setting things up.
Now, another interesting thing I noticed in this text is that it explicitly addresses both Gentiles and Jews.
Right.
Why do you think that was?
Well, it was a very deliberate move. Remember, at the time, a lot of religions were very much focused on specific groups or regions. But here you see this real ambition to create
Like a more universal.
a global faith.
Yeah.
And this openness to a wider audience likely played a big part in the early growth and spread of the church.
You know, when you read this document, it's
Yeah.
amazing to think that this one revelation
Yeah,
could spark such a lasting movement.
absolutely.
You know, it not only sets up these roles for Joseph Smith Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
but it also sets this official date for the church's establishment.
Sets the stage.
Yeah, and it makes this really bold claim
Yeah.
of divine authority, and it outlines all these promises and blessings for believers,
Right.
and it highlights that really important partnership
Dynamic duo.
between Smith and Cowdery, and it does all that in, what, like 2 paragraphs?
It's incredible how much they pack in.
Talk about powerful.
Yeah.
But here's what I really want you all to think about.
Okay.
How did this single revelation set the stage for the Latter-day Saint movement?
As we know it.
As we know it today, think about the organizational structure.
Yeah.
You know, the doctrines,
The missionary work.
the emphasis on missionary work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, were all of those things,
Planted.
were the seeds of all that planted right here in this 1829 revelation.
It makes you think.
And if so, how did that impact the way that the movement evolved over time?
That's a deep dive in itself.
Right. I mean, there's so much to unpack here.
Absolutely.
And this is just the beginning, so
The tip of the iceberg.
keep thinking, keep digging, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.